Hello,
Hello,
how are you doing?
I'm good at yourself.
It's nice to actually finally meet you. I've been
Oh,
wanting to meet you
awesome.
for
My
so long.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Okay, well, I'm interested in talking to you a little bit about the organizations that I know you run in Nigeria.
Okay.
I've involved you in women's activities and basically, can you please introduce yourself?
My name's Mrs. Carol Enwenwosu Aki. It's hyphenated. Enwenwosu is my maiden name. Aki is my married name.
Great, nice to finally meet you.
Thank you.
Um, well, what are the organizations that you're involved in, and can you name them for us, please?
I'm actually involved in a couple of organizations for Nigerian development. One of them is called Isoko Association. That is more of a tribal, organization that I belong to. And what that represents and what we do is we gather funds to help those that are back home that are less privileged in the area of education, in the area of healthcare, and just general upkeep. I'll give you an example. Just this year alone, we have sent um, 40 foot filled up with books
Oh,
for um, University Library back in Isoko, you know, local government area. We've also done a couple of boreholes for the rural areas that don't have tap water,
okay.
clean water. We've sent textbooks, pencil, writing materials to local elementary schools in the area. So things like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the other organization
The other
is
organization is called KSRN, which spelled out is KYSRN. And what that stands for is Know Your Status Right Now. What KSRN is all about is regards to helping out to curb and assist HIV and AIDS affected people back home in Nigeria. Um, there's a production of little kits. It's more or less, like a testing kit. The normal pregnancy test that you find in any local um, pharmacy. So we developed um, these little kits, and what that does is a 2 minute test that you have to take, you know, before you have sex, if you must have sex, just like you want to use condom. But this is a more profound way of knowing instantly in less than 2 minutes, where you stand, if you're HIV positive or not.
okay.
And the reason behind that is to give women in particular empowerment, because you find out that from the research that I'm doing right now, more or less I'm in school. That's why this organization is very dear to my heart, because my research thesis is focused on HIV/AIDS and the effect it has on undergraduate students in Nigeria. So I'm really very glad to belong to this organization because it tallies around with my research papers and everything.
And I know you're writing a book about it.
Yes, eventually, I'm in the process of publishing a book about empowerment and women's rights, and how to love yourself better as a woman. You know, um, I don't want to give out the title right now, but this, this is a combination of everything that the book is about.
Okay. Okay. And the organization helps women how? As in, what does it do for them?
Well, it's more channeled towards women and HIV, AIDS, um, affected, people. But the concentration is more on women, being that we find out that through this research the percentage of people that are affected with HIV, and AIDS, the percentage is more of women. It's higher for women than it is for men. And my CEO is right now in Nigeria. There's an event going on right now in Nigeria about Kisaren, educating the public and, launching the kits with the government of Lagos right now. We started with Lagos. In December, we'll be going over to Port Harcourt, It is more for women in the sense that we'll find out that most of these young girls, they don't care, more or less, or either that they don't care, but we'll find out that they're not aware, they don't have that awareness. They don't have the empowerment to be able to say no, to take care of themselves better. So, interestingly enough, we are more women in the organization, men are also in the organization, but it's a thing that is after our heart because we want to really, really, empower young girls and women in particular to learn to love themselves better, to learn to make a better choice for themselves and their lives.
So the organization you said earlier is for men and women in general.
Yeah.
But women are more involved in it than men?
Yes, at the moment, yes.
Why do you think that is, that men are not as involved in the organization for Nigerian men as you are?
Well, I won't say in general, but for this association in particular, it was a bunch of women that sat down and said, this is an area that I want to help out. And being a woman myself, having had the opportunity to be educated, to be exposed.
So you think women are more passionate about the cause?
I will hope that, as time goes on, that women will be more passionate, because that will give them that awareness to take a step back and take a look at what is going on around them, within them, and in their community about the rights of women in Nigeria.
Can you tell us a little bit about the views, what you've encountered so far, about the views of men in Nigeria generally on AIDS, HIV/AIDS?
It's very interesting, and sadly enough, some of them are in denial, and because of the pride of being a man, some of them think they're invincible. And some of them also think because they have money, because it's usually the very rich ones that think they can have any girl on the street. And I must say, from my research, that more or less it's shocking to know even the educated ones are in total denial, thinking, they cannot get AIDS. AIDS does not be a label. It does not show only when you think somebody is not well off or somebody is not well dressed. AIDS comes in different forms, even the most beautiful, the most dressed, so.
So for the organization, it's more focused on women and their opinions. How about the younger females that you've encountered with this organization? Can you tell us a little bit about their opinion on it?
It's not more of the organization, but it's more on my research.
Okay.
It's more on my research than the organization. From my research, which, I'm really working on about HIV and AIDS perspectives among the undergraduate students, female undergraduate students in Nigeria. I'm shocked to discover that even as undergraduate students that you will think are well learned and exposed, not too many of them are really aware of how it is to take care of themselves, so to speak, when it comes to AIDS. In terms of the type of lifestyles, promiscuities, sex labor, all of that.